what happens when you get into debt.
That's your name?
It's not my name.
And you can't or won't pay it back.
I'm going to seize the car in front of the drive, the Ford.
In this series, we meet the people who are losing their homes.
Oh, get out! Get out!
No, don't raise your voice.
We never receive any notice.
Their cars.
If I give you the keys,
Yes.
how do I know I'm going to get the car back?
And their possessions. We meet the people who are owed money.
Welcome to hell.
And the people whose job it is to collect it.
If you don't open the door, we'll smash the glass.
Because when you can't pay,
Don't speak to me like because I'll take your head off.
they'll take it away.
There's like different forms of scum in life, but you're just a higher class one.
Take him out.
The number of calls to helplines from tenants struggling with rent arrears increased by 13% in the last 12 months, more than any other debt type. Many fear they won't be able to keep a roof over their heads, according to a new report.
Paul Bowhill and Steve Pinner are High Court enforcement officers. Commonly known as sheriffs, they spend their time chasing debts from those who can't pay.
It's supposed to be invited in, not breaking.
We have a warrant that allows us to break in.
And those who won't pay.
If you'd have done as we'd asked, this would have all been totally unnecessary.
Working under the authority of the High Court, they are the officers people turn to when all other avenues have failed. They have the power to seize your possessions to cover your debts and evict you from your home if you've fallen behind with your payments.
Won't be a problem. Most of the people that we meet are in denial. Denial on two fronts. One is that the debt exists, and the second and critical point is that they don't think it will have gone this far.
Paul and Steve are on their way to West London. Their work means meeting people in crisis and facing emotionally challenging cases as they enforce the law. Today's job is one of them.
Do you want a sweetie?
Sorry?
You can have a sweetie.
I can have a sweetie. I'm having a chewy at the moment.
Oh, right. You're so ungrateful.
They have a High Court order to evict a couple who have become sitting tenants.
How far is it? Are we there yet?
No, we're not there yet.
The tenant's lease has run out. They haven't paid their rent in 5 months, and they've ignored all letters and court orders telling them to leave. The 2-bedroom flat is in a nice area in Chiswick. The owner's son is waiting for them outside the property. He wants to witness the eviction.
If the landlord is there, you're a target. It makes it contentious.
That's fine.
We're actually once removed from that,
Yep.
so they can batter on about you to us.
Okay.
And it goes over there.
Yeah,
so,
no worries.
But that's only for the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
The landlords are a retired couple who rely on the rental income. They are owed over £10,000.
The flat is actually held by my parents, who are retired, and sadly that's meant that all their pension for the last 4 or 5 months has gone on paying the mortgage on this flat. They've worked all their life, so the last few months they haven't had the money to spend on living that they would have had otherwise. So it's been very bad news in that respect. The block down that end, while the tenants effectively stayed there rent-free and, to my mind, squatted.
The owner's son has also been told that the property is now not in a good condition. There have been complaints about bad smells from the neighbours. Paul and Steve's powers mean they can force their way in and make the tenants homeless immediately.
Hello? We have a writ here to repossess the property. We'd rather you open the door and save the damage of us breaking in.
How long has this been going on?
Since June.
Okay. Was he there?
There's no answer. Nobody. Would you like to open the door, please? Obviously not. That one's locked.
The warrants that we carry are quite powerful. So in other words, if people want to talk through the letterbox, we allow that to happen until we get bored, and then we'll just break the door down.
We'll do our best. We've come to repossess the property, sir. Would you like to open the door so we can talk about it?
Can you just talk this through the door?
Please read it fully.
People become face to face with a debt situation when a High Court enforcement officer knocks on the door. Until that time, they can just dismiss it. They can shred the letters, ignore the telephone calls, or pretend that it doesn't exist.
Well, the best thing for you to do is, if you open the door, we can actually talk to you instead of trying to do this through the door, and we can work our way around the system. If you feel that it's not correct and you'd like to call the police, feel free to do so. Either way, sir, we can enter the property with or without your permission, but we'd rather do it with your permission. Will you open the door, sir? Thank you very much. You understand the position of the writ?
Really?
Huh?
Not really, no.
Right, what happens is, what it says that, you know, owing to the landlord has taken you to court, it's now gone through the High Courts, and now, today, we've come to issue this and repossess the property.
Well, we've nowhere to go.
But this has been going on for some time. I mean, this isn't the first you've heard of it today, is it?
No, we've been trying to find somewhere.
But won't the council rehouse you?
They're trying to do it. They're trying to serve it, but they said we're not high priority.
Well, you are
today. Now. Yeah.
Today you are a high priority because you're now homeless.
You've got a total care in the community issue here. You know, there's notices on all the doors saying, please close the door quietly, keep this door locked at all times, switch off, do this, do that. And the bloke is obviously not 100%. So we've suggested that he ring the council to get the system rolling, and then we'll deal with it.
The tenant's vulnerable condition is a real surprise to everyone. Paul and Steve now face a dilemma. They are worried about the tenants, who currently have nowhere to go. But they also have to carry out the eviction as commanded by the court order. They have to make a decision.
Across the UK, official figures reveal that there were 300,000 mortgages in arrears and almost 34,000 homes repossessed in 2012. This marks a 60% increase since 2006.
Today, Paul and Steve are in Chiswick, West London, on an emotionally challenging case.
Hello?
They have a writ to evict a couple who owe £10,000 in rent. Their lease has run out. They haven't paid their rent in 5 months.
We've come to repossess the property, sir.
And they have ignored all letters and court orders telling them to leave.
Will you open the door, sir?
But they are clearly vulnerable.
Thank you very much.
You've got a total care in the community issue here. So we've suggested that he ring the council to get the system rolling, and then we'll deal with it.
Paul and Steve are legally compelled to carry out the writ.
You can't stay in the flat anymore from tonight.
I understand.
Okay.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Where do we go?
Well, that's why we're trying to get you to get in touch with the council to give you at least temporary accommodation.
Well, how can we get our things together to get out? Can we?
Okay.
Will we have time? I'm asthmatic. My husband's disabled.
Yes, I understand.
Is there anything we can do?
Unfortunately.
Well, where do we go?
Well, just listen to me a second.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, just relax. What we can do is you get enough stuff together for 2 or 3 days.
And where would they put us? Do you think?
No disrespect.
No.
I don't know.
With the tenants about to be homeless, Paul asked the landlord and his solicitor to ring the local council as quickly as possible.
We'll allow them to take enough kit with them today for 48 hours, or, you know, whatever, so that the council can sort them out, or not, as the case may be, and then we'll arrange collectively, you come back, let them back in, to actually arrange for the removal of the goods. If they try to break back in there, it's a criminal offence and they can be arrested. In my view, it's a council responsibility. If they're in need of care, and they, from our opinion so far, they obviously are, these people should be prioritised. But it won't kick up on the priority list until the bailiff's there and evicting them.
While the tenants face an uncertain future, the owner's son is more worried about the state of his parents' flat.
You know, it's you've seen the state of it as it is in there.
It smells of fish.
Have you been in the lounge yet?
No.
Don't.
Almost 2 hours later, the council has found them temporary accommodation, but the tenants are still in the flat. The owner's son and his solicitor are beginning to lose patience.
Steve, they're taking the piss now.
We'd like to wrap it up. I mean, we're giving them over a
2
lot
hours.
longer. You know, fair's fair. We want the families to go to as well.
Well done, Sean. Thank you.
I've been told now that I have to draw this to an end because everything's taken so long.
Very well. No, we've given them ages. It's 6 o'clock now.
You need to get your stuff together, ready to come out the door.
Yes, we can't really hang about outside in the cold, you see.
Oh, you can always go and sit at McDonald's, it's quite warm.
They're making no attempt now.
You've been very helpful.
What you need to do is you need to get your suitcase, or where they're going to take your clothes in.
So we haven't got suitcases. So we can't find suitcases, we never had time to get them out.
There are no suitcases. They didn't have time to pack suitcases.
Is that everything? Have we got everything?
Yep, that's everything now. Okay, that's us done.
Thanks very much.
I'm sorry for the delay and the amount of time it took.
Right, how are you doing?
The tenants have a roof over their heads tonight, but their home is gone. The owner's son is eager to see what's happened to his parents' flat.
Until I go in, because I haven't been in there for months, I really don't know what I'm going to be faced with. This flat, when they took it on, was pristine. Great, so this is what we're left with. Well, just give up, don't you? What hell it is now.
It was really clear that the people had a huge problem. They were just like, you know, absolute hoarders, and the flat was 5 feet deep in waste paper, rubbish and collected items.
There's a brand new sofa somewhere under that lot. And the rent arrears is probably around about 10 grand. Then you've got legal fees, so that's probably about another 3,500. And then sadly, because they have left the place in such a bad state, adds up to over double the arrears. So there's another 20-odd thousand pounds. Oh. I think this is what estate agents would describe as in need of tender, loving care.
And in the bedroom, which was the most shocking of all, there were 2 beds, but there were cardboard box constructions on the bed, and for whatever reason, they actually slept inside the cardboard boxes. So it was really sad.
Well, at least we got it back.
If the last job was challenging, their next job is going to be no easier, but for very different reasons. Today, Paul and Steve are on their way to Romford for a debt of over £3,000. Their High Court powers mean that if the debtor can't pay, they have the authority to seize any possessions and sell them to cover the debt.
You can run point on this one, Steve.
The man named on the writ works as a taxi driver.
Hi there. Looking for Mr. Alizadar.
If he can't pay the £3,000, they could take his car away.
Hi there. Sorry to wake you up. Mr. Alizadar.
Yeah?
Has taken you to court. Yeah.
What for?
I have no idea what for. I don't get that information. All I know is that there is a warrant outstanding and the amount is £3,253.04, plus a 440...
It's not me. They made a mistake. It's not me. They sent to the court also. That's not me. That's a different person.
Who is it?
If he's my brother, no, I'm not responsible for my brother. You should go and get them, not me.
You're sheriff.
I'm a sheriff, yeah. I'm a sheriff, Alizadar.
Well,
if you need an ID, I'll bring an ID for you.
OK, but look, you see...
Mr. Alizadar claims that the debt is his brother's, but the writ is made out in his name.
I didn't pay that rent for that house, which is... He wasn't me, he's a different person. If he's my brother...
So where is Mr. whoever it is?
Ask them, not me.
He's your brother?
Yeah, he's my brother.
So you must know where he is.
Yeah, I know. You should find him and go and tell them. Why isn't...
Well, OK, can I just be very simple about this? Just really, really simple. Is this your vehicle?
Yeah, he is.
OK. This is from the courts.
Yeah.
The highest court in the land that empowers me to take your car, unless you can pay this debt.
Paul and Steve have no idea whether he is telling the truth or not. A High Court writ is rarely wrong.
The way to get to the truth is just to keep talking. And all the time you're talking, you're asking the same questions in different ways, but you're looking for an inconsistency in the answer. So it's straightforward interrogation.
I spoke with him. He was my landlord. I was living in this address as well. Before that guy, I was living on that address. And that's why he knows my address. He sent it to me. I showed him why you take it, put it my name to the court.
Where is your brother?
My brother. It's my brother. He's in this country. Go and get him.
Well, we don't need to, because we're going to take the car
That's fine. You can take it in my car.
OK, can you give the keys?
Huh?
Give us keys.
I'm not going to give the key. Why should I give the key?
Can you get your brother on the phone, then?
I'm not going to put him on the phone.
Well, that's OK. We'll just take the car. I'll call a recovery truck.
Call him, they carry the carriage.
Look, listen, there's an easy way of doing it, or there's a hard way.
No, it's not the hard way. I'm not responsible
Unless you
for
prove
that.
to us that this is not you. Have you got the logbook for that vehicle out there?
Yeah, of course I've got a logbook.
But before Paul calls the tow truck, he rings his office to check out the man's story and whether the writ is correct. And the truth is surprising.
Bye.
They have the wrong man.
Right, he's obviously covering for his brother. His brother is a completely different person. None of this paperwork applies to...
He explained to us that it wasn't him and it was his brother. But if your name is on that writ, you are then liable for what it says.
All the taxi licences, all of that paperwork shows that this warrant, the name on this warrant, is against this man. But in the meantime, since we've actually come and knocked on the door, we've had an email that says the name on the warrant is wrong.
It's now up to Mr. Alizadar, not the court, to prove his innocence. He's currently legally liable for the debt. But Paul and Steve have a plan to soften the blow.
I'm going to seize that car outside, but leave it with you. I will write paperwork that shows that the sheriff's office now owns the taxi.
Yeah.
Yes? You then carry on using it while I sort the paperwork out. That if the mistake is not as you say it is, but you're a reasonable man, I can come back and take the taxi. Just so long as you understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you don't produce it when I ask you to, it will be reported as stolen.
Mr. Alizadar now has 2 weeks to challenge the writ in court, or risk not just losing the vehicle, but also his livelihood. He has a family and 3 children to support.
There's obviously a mistake, or sorry, potentially a mistake, But I'm happy with what I've done because I can still come back not smiling if it goes wrong.
Yeah.
Right, in the meantime, if you want to save all this aggravation, ring your brother and get him to call me.
A report has found that more than 8 million households now have no savings at all. And almost half of the lowest income households are spending more than 25% of their income on debt repayments.
Thanks a lot.
Steve Wood is a Bristol bailiff with over 20 years' experience. His firm specialises in carrying out court orders and repossessions on commercial properties. A busy week can see as many as 50 writs executed.
I'd be inclined to say this is a fictitious name.
I've been assaulted, I've been knifed, things thrown at us, oil, petrol. We've had people swing at us with pickaxes. We have heard it all before, and I'm sure we'll hear it all again.
Good morning, Evelyn Somerset Police. How may I help?
Hi, good morning. My name is Steve Wood. I'm a bailiff based here in Bristol. It's just for information purposes.
Today, Steve is repossessing a small convenience store, a classic corner shop. But the tenant owes over £5,000 in rent.
Yeah. OK, all right, no worries.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for ringing.
Bye.
Thanks, bye-bye.
It's 6:30 in the morning, and Steve wants to get there early before the tenant opens up. The shop lies in the usually peaceful suburb of Clifton. Steve doesn't have the keys, but as long as the tenant is not inside the property, the court order gives them the right to break in. But getting in isn't straightforward. They've discovered there's a steel bar reinforcing the doors. While the locksmith cuts through the steel, the tenant arrives.
Are you with the shop, sir?
Yeah.
We're bailiffs. We're repossessing it on behalf of the landlord for non-paid rent.
How much?
Well, that's what you're going to have to discuss with the landlord.
Steve's first task is to get the keys and gain entry before the tenant crosses the threshold.
If you encounter anybody before you get in and that person's inside the premises, you cannot go forward. Whereas if you've got into the premises and you're over that threshold and then somebody turns up afterwards, then you're OK, you're in the premises.
So have you got the keys that could let us in?
Yeah.
All right. Could I have the keys, please, sir?
How much?
Richard.
They're in.
I don't know. It's about 5,500 as far as I'm aware, maybe a bit more, but at the moment we're repossessing it for non-payment of rent. My colleagues repossessed it. All right, we're changing all the locks.
Yeah.
So
you take the stock out now?
No, stock is... You can take the stock out, but I'll give you my business card, and we can arrange for you to take the stock out. Well, you haven't paid your rent, have you?
Steve's writ only allows him to take possession of the property. He's not authorised to seize the stock inside or take payment.
So what can I do with the payment?
Well, you need to talk to the landlord. I would immediately phone the landlord and start to talk to him.
How much is the total?
Well, let me get the warrant. Come in and have a look. We'll have a look. Well, according to this, it's £5,802.46.
So if I pay this amount to whom?
To the landlord.
Then you have to open the...
I can't say yes or no. All I can say is ring the landlord or ring his agent, and if they agree, then we'll let you have the keys back once you've paid the rent arrears and our costs. We're changing the locks, front and back. If you try to gain entry after we've left, it will be a criminal offence. All right? Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Despite being owed over £5,000, the landlord at least has his shop back. But once inside, Steve discovers the situation is even worse. The back of the shop has been converted into living accommodation.
None of this has been authorised. It's all put in illegally, and there's a sort of shower unit in here. It's just disgusting. It really is. We normally find that some of the property's been converted if it's upstairs and completely separate, but actually chopping the shop in half, and he hasn't even, it's just amateurishly done. Chopping the shop in half and just putting a full stud wall in, and then turning it into living accommodation. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. I mean, it's going to take thousands to put this right. It's horrible.
There was definitely 3, possibly 4 living there. It's sad, but it's not unheard of, and it shouldn't happen in today's age, but it does.
While Steve doesn't know who is living there, the conditions are a real concern.
Just a load of junk. There's a side entrance here, which has been padlocked up. And it's just a load of junk, really. Gee whiz, look at these electrics. How the hell this place hasn't gone up in smoke, God only knows.
It wasn't the cleanest of shops that we went into. The fridges were dirty. There wasn't that much stock on the walls, and some of the stuff that was there was out of date. There were rat droppings behind the counter. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing my shopping in there.
Looks like a bit of a mouldy sponge. I'm not sure what the hell that's. It's a pain, though.
Back open at 12, back in 10, back in 3 minutes. So he's obviously.
Has he got one for not back at all?
The shop repairs will cost the landlord thousands of pounds, and the tenant's business has been ruined by the debt.
Do I feel any sympathy for him? Not really. I mean, it sounds a bit harsh, but if he offered to pay the rent this morning, then why hasn't he paid it in the past 2 or 3 months? Why has he messed the landlord around for that length of time? So I think he's brought it on himself.
Today, landlord Mark Talbot has arranged for the tenants to come back and clear their possessions from his retired parents' flat. The tenants had refused to leave and owed £10,000.
Unbelievable.
Although the tenants were vulnerable, Mark has discovered that they were fully aware of their debt and the notices to leave.
They even like to keep track of how much rent they're in arrears on their calendar. And when they got various letters from the lawyers. Oh, look, it's got the county court judgment there in August. Clearly they can't claim they didn't know what was going on. And I'll just try and open that window to get a bit more fresh air in, to let the stench out, if I can. Oh, dear. Heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking.
Finally, the tenants arrived.
Well, we can start getting stuff downstairs, can't you? I mean, I don't mind helping. Yes, of course I will. I just want everything out, don't I? So I would politely suggest that we try and chuck as many clothes into black sacks a bit quick as possible, wouldn't you? And then at least by the time the man in the van comes, we'll have done something for him to put in the van, won't we? Everything in there rubbish, agreed?
Yeah.
You're going to sign to that effect, yeah?
With the tenants and their possessions gone, Mark inspects the flat.
This is brand new carpet, 2.5 years ago. This is because they let absolutely no air into the flat whatsoever during the time they were here. Newly decorated before they came in. On a positive note, it looks somewhat better than it did about 4 hours ago.
Mark and his parents can now start the process of getting the flat refurbished. Two weeks ago, High Court enforcement officers Paul Bowhill and Steve Pinner were in Romford to see taxi driver Mr. Ali Zadar.
That's not me, that's a different person.
He had to pay £3,000 or risk losing his car.
My paperwork allows me, under this name, to seize your vehicle.
But it was a case of mistaken identity. The writ should have been in his brother's name, and even though Mr. Alizadar is the innocent party, it was up to him to clear his name in court.
Ring your brother and get him to call me.
Now they are returning to Romford. The debt has risen by a further £700, and Mr. Alizadar hasn't been to court. So while Paul and Steve know he's the wrong man, the writ commands them to collect on the debt.
The bloke has not made an arrangement to pay yet, so we're going to go back and give him the bad news that we're expecting him to pay. It's £3,915 today. I'm going to lead on it, you did the last time. He thinks you're Mr. Nice Guy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
Very well, thank you. We still have a problem. We haven't heard from anybody with regards to this. So the situation is now that because your name is on all our paperwork, we are coming to you for this. Because this has come from the High Court, the writ has been done, it's in your name, and
my name.
You're responsible for it as far as the High Court is concerned.
The last thing I want to do, or sorry, we want to do, is to take your car away. Because it's a nuisance to us, it's a nuisance to you, and it might all go wrong. Listen, in real terms, how much money could you get now?
The money, I can get £200-300.
No, we're looking for £2,000 at least.
I can give you £200-300.
With the deadline up and Mr. Alizadar unable to pay the debt, Paul is duty-bound to enforce the warrant. The sheriffs have to seize the taxi.
I'm only concerned, this warrant's telling me what to do, and I'm actually going to do what the warrant tells me to do.
That's fine. You want to put the car? Let me bring the key and take my stuff from there.
If I was in this gentleman's shoes, I'd have been on the phone to my brother and asked him, what have you done? What's the situation? Why have you got these people knocking on my door? But he seemed to be reluctant to do that. I don't know why.
It also means that Mr. Alizadar will be without his family transport and out of work.
I'm sorry to have to do this.
That's fine, that's fine.
It isn't fine, and I feel just as bad about it, but, you know...
You gave me a chance last time.
I did.
Which is, we thought it's finished.
Yeah.
You're not going to come back.
It's cost £444 for our attendance today to remove it. So it's just cost him another £450, if you like, plus whatever the other costs are on it. So the debt started off at £2,400, it's nigh on £4,000 now. This is where it goes out of control. And the easiest way to resolve this is to get the money. That's the easiest way, and fight about it afterwards, because every day that we've got this car, you're losing your wages. All right, sir. Is there anything...
Tea, coffee, cold drink?
No, sir, we're OK, thank you. We're OK. He's a really nice guy, though. I mean, you take the man's car away and he's living away and he invites you in for coffee. Take care, sir.
OK, thank you.
If we can get this solved in a few days, we'll bring you back.
I hope it's... Thank you.
All right.
I hope that we're done. Sort them out tomorrow.
OK, thanks very much.
Not everything we did.
Bye-bye.
I haven't got no car. I lost my job to take my kids to the school in the morning, and also my work.
Now Mr. Alizadar has 2 weeks either to pay the money or get the writ changed. If he doesn't, his taxi will be sold. High Court enforcement officers Paul Bowhill and Steve Pinner are seeing more and more cases of people on housing benefit who are in rent arrears and in trouble. Today's case is to repossess a house in Harrow.
What I can't believe on these is that the rent arrears just escalate, don't they? How do they allow it to get this far?
According to their writ, the landlord is owed £10,000 by a female tenant.
Well, we don't know anything about it, though, do we?
Nothing at all. Do we need to, though?
Well, no, I suppose
If we know the whole story, we'll get all emotional about it. We'll be in tears sitting at the side of the road.
Oh, I don't want to do this job. Well,
please don't cry, you'll start me off.
left all my coins and everything in me. That don't make a lot of noise, does it?
With no answer, their High Court powers enable them to break in.
Hello? Hello?
Clear downstairs?
Nobody downstairs.
Hello?
Nothing?
No. Let's have a look round.
Steve and Paul investigate the house for clues to the tenant's situation. It soon becomes clear that she has a young child.
We've got a photograph on there. We've got a lady who, I guess the nationality. I mean, the name sounds Portuguese, but the photographs there tell her own story. She's got one child who, on that picture, looks to be about 2 or 3 years old. We're then walking along here and we're finding debt collection letters through here, more debt collection letters, different companies, more debt collection letters. Brent's customer services threatening to take back £2,500 in an overpayment of housing benefit. And then in amongst it, we've got a guide to bankruptcy. A woman on her own here, got children, seriously weighed down with the debt problem. If we repossess a home, the people we feel sorriest for always are the children of the home. So they might be at school and they're going to come back and find that their home as it existed when they went to school no longer exists. I'm sending a message which says, please call me, Paul Bowhill, Sheriff's Office. We'll insert the word urgent.
We've gained access as commanded and taken back the property. We're now making the property secure and it's now under seizure to us. So nobody can gain access unless we authorise it.
With the landlord now at the property, Paul finds out more about the background to the case.
Yeah, she was in receipt of housing benefit for some time. Were you receiving that? I mean, did the rent just suddenly stop?
Rent just stopped more or less, I don't know the exact date, more or less about 6 months ago.
So how long has she been here?
She's been here about at least 8 months. So the first 2 months, yeah, no problem. Then after she told me, she got made redundant. And then from then,
what did she do, do you know?
I think she's some sort of carer. That's what was written initially on her paperwork.
Okay. And how much is the rent?
Rent is £1,500 a month.
After 6 months without paying rent, the landlord felt compelled to evict his tenant.
It was all right up until they were paying rent, and then they started getting a bit not opening doors when I knock on the door, and they can easily tell they're inside because you can see the little kid through the window. That's why I gave them a chance. I don't really want to chuck a little kid out in the street, which is not nice to do, and what's been going on is not really a nice procedure to get a little kid involved, and really, more or less today, they're going to be out in the street. But they've had more than well enough notice and what the procedure would be if they don't pay or don't move. So they've kind of dug their own grave, really.
Paul's writ empowers him not only to evict the tenant, but also to seize and sell any of her possessions in order to repay the debt.
There's obviously not £10,000 worth of removable items in the house.
There's still no reply from the tenant. As the locks have now been changed, and as the tenant doesn't know yet that she's been evicted, Paul and Steve are concerned.
Now, we like to wrap it up. Now, we are mindful of the fact that she is potentially a single mother with a child, so we don't want to dispossess them on a cold night like this if there are other things that we can do.
Finally, the tenant rings.
Hello, Paula. Is that Paula?
Yeah.
Paula, I'm a sheriff's officer. We've repossessed your house. Do you understand that?
No. I'm from my house now. I'm from my husband late.
So,
it's better to come tomorrow because I'm in my house tomorrow morning.
yeah, but you missed the point. You cannot get back into your house because it's been repossessed. Because it's been taken over by order of the court.
No. Where's the letters?
Well, no, I'm sorry.
Where's the appointment or something like that? Is it possible? I have a child.
No, I agree with you. That's why I'm trying to make it easy.
No. Is it possible?
Well, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about it.
What you're doing is impossible. It's impossible.
How is it impossible?
It's impossible.
Why? Hello?
It's getting late. Paul and Steve are worried about where the tenant and her young son will spend the night.
If children are involved in a repossession, we immediately go into a completely different mode to contact the council, because where children are involved, the council have a duty of care to provide emergency accommodation.
2 hours later, the tenant finally returns. She has left her young son in the care of relatives.
Oh, I lost my job. The child need too much money because he's eating, he's need dress, everything. Now my expense for money all weeks is 45 pounds. I feel sick, I feel bad. Because I love my child. All days I have different letters for bills. It's difficult. Sorry.
As Paula has left her son with relatives, she isn't eligible for emergency council accommodation.
It's a huge, huge problem, this is. You know, £1,500 a month rent, where do people find that? The housing benefit system has now been capped, but we're at the sharp end, and the reality is that we do feel for it, because we're the people who see it.
Now I come my mom's house, but it's 1 bedroom and 1 living room. My sister in my house she come to visit me. Now we sleep 7 people in 1 house.
With Paula homeless and without transport, the sheriffs decide to drive Paula and her sister to her mother's house.
She's good to go now, so we've done the best we can. Bear in mind, we've now been here for like nearly 11 hours.
While one family with a debt problem try and start again, there's some good news for Mr. Alizadar. 1 week ago, he watched powerless as Paul and Steve repossessed his taxi.
Bye-bye.
The taxi was taken to cover a £3,000 debt that Mr. Alizadar maintained was never his. With court costs, the debt grew to nearly £4,000.
Yeah, it was very hard on that time. My taxi was everything for me and for my family, because we survived with that. I was out of job, no work, I earned nothing. Also, we have to pay for the solicitor as well. It was all the pressure, it came at the same time. It was very hard.
But after going to a solicitor to get the writ against him cancelled, the sheriffs have now returned his taxi. What happens when you get into debt?
I'll do what I want. I will punch you clean through that window.
And you can't
You think you can tear my family apart?
or won't pay it back.
I can't pay it. I can't pay it.
We meet the High Court enforcement agents who are pushed to their limits,
Get out of here! So somebody's gonna get hurt.
dealing with desperate debtors
Keep kicking me out of my dad's house.
in dramatic situations.
This is not the same. I'm a squat in this place now.
We meet the people who are losing their homes
I am really big victim for this landlord. Really victim.
and their possessions.
That's fine, because I just list everything and we'll take it.
Because whatever happens, if you can't pay,
Get your hands off me.
they'll take it away. A leading charity reports that nearly 40% of homeless people have lived in properties without the owner's permission. And since squatting in domestic properties was outlawed in 2012, the problem has shifted to commercial premises, with an estimated clean-up bill of £650 million. Paul Bohill is a High Court enforcement agent. He travels hundreds of miles every week, enforcing writs and repossessing properties. It's 7 a.m. in South London. Today, Paul and several colleagues are facing a real challenge. They must evict a group of squatters who've taken over an empty nursery building in Brixton.
So what time are the police due? They're going to be with us from the outset.
They've been told to expect the worst, so the team have security and police backup. Paul is also being joined by Stuart McCracken and Ian Taylor.
But apparently, from what we've heard, is the police said that they've been throwing bottles and paint and all sorts, so it could get quite feisty, I suppose. You're all right with a bit of urine? It's just like your normal weekend, isn't it, Ian?
Steve Pinner and his son Ben are already at the site. But this eviction isn't going to be straightforward.
That house there.
Paul and Ben brief the three teams.
We'll surround the building at our appointed positions. They have been known to throw paint and urine, and if they are, please stand back. And we want spotters at the back watching the upstairs windows, just in case there's a television coming out to be dropped on us.
Just some more intel. There's also someone inside that also glassed someone recently. Obviously, they've been notes barricaded, which includes fridges. You may find a fridge coming down the stairs.
Whatever they face, Paul wants the agents to remain calm.
The important thing to remember on this is low-key, non-confrontational.
Let's go.
The former nursery is on a main road in Brixton. The agents split up to check all the different entry and exit points. Stuart and Ian guard the front.
Well, the front door's been barricaded in, hasn't it?
What makes these people dangerous is the fact that they've got nothing to lose. They're already homeless.
This is the reason why we need a bit of police presence.
At the back of the house, the team have to get over a high fence and locked gate to gain entry.
Just pass me a bar.
The gate has been nailed firmly shut. The squatters have been here for over 5 weeks and have made it hard for anyone to get in.
Sorry about it not being so quiet.
OK, we're not here to destroy things.
One of the squatters is waiting behind the back door.
Good morning. We have a High Court writ, and we have to execute it, sir.
Expect our resistance.
Well, that's really unnecessary. We want to do this nicely, calmly. Are you going to open the door?
With the man refusing to open the door, Paul steps in.
Listen, we'll execute the writ today, come what may. So we'd rather it be done peaceably. We're not going to rush you. You can get vans in, you can get people in.
We do not want to make the making of homelessness easy for anybody.
OK, but we've got generators and cutters. We're going to come in anyway.
The agents have no choice but to break into the property.
Because the downstairs window is open.
Take the locks off these grills on the windows first.
It's important to get in fast, before more entry points get boarded up. Successfully in, Steve now smashes open the barricades, blocking the back door.
Sorry, that's fine, thank you.
The agents don't know what to expect, or how many squatters they will face.
Good morning, sir. I'm sorry that we're going to have to ask you to leave today.
As you can see, I can
Okay, so we have 1, 4, 5.
Oh, well, fucking hell.
People living like this. Normal shithole. This is almost as untidy as my house.
When you get into these properties, for some reason they just trash the building, and for no particular reason. Why would I want to live in somewhere that's filthy dirty? Hygiene is like next to zilch. I couldn't do it.
Ben finds the man he spoke to through the door, Glenn.
How many of you here? I thought there was more.
I'm not even sure of numbers at the moment because quite a few people have gone away for a few days.
Apparently there's about 12, 13 people in there at the moment, but apparently there's 32 classified as missing. So they might come back, they might not.
Paul and a police officer inspect a former classroom.
So just look out for needles and things.
And find evidence of Class A drug use.
That's a big enough needle to tranquilise a horse, isn't it? Yeah.
More squatters have now returned. But as they begin to leave the house with their belongings, tensions start to rise.
I'm not letting anybody to touch my stuff, right?
You wankers, go get real jobs. Go fuck yourself.
Some of the squatters have started drinking alcohol and don't seem in a hurry to leave. As various vans arrive to collect their belongings, the squatters decide to move from the former nursery playground to the yard next door. Ben realises that they could try and squat there instead. He takes immediate action.
Hello? Hello, madam.
Sorry, you can't get inside my fucking van.
I don't want to get inside your van. I want to talk to you. What's the problem?
We are not a
calm
circus.
down.
We are people with dignity.
I understand.
We are people with dignity. We are not a circus.
Look, calm down. Just forget about
Okay,
it.
I don't want to move.
Okay, we'll see.
You come evict me.
Think.
Who's the owner of this place? This is not the same. I'm squatting this place.
With tensions rising, will the agents be able to move the squatters out of the yard before the situation becomes out of control? 3 High Court enforcement agent teams were in Brixton, South London, to evict a group of squatters from a former nursery.
We have a High Court writ, and we have to execute it, sir.
Expect our resistance.
The eviction started peacefully, but once in a neighbouring yard, the situation became volatile.
I'm squatting this place now.
Now, the agents have to use all their years of experience to take back control of the situation.
Just forget about
Okay, I don't want to move.
it. Okay, we'll see.
The owner of the van has decided she's not going anywhere.
This is just getting a little bit heated out there. We need some action.
Okay, we're going to live here now. Now we're going to squat this place.
Ben appeals to the other squatters for help.
Right. Someone that speaks a bit of sense, tell her to calm down.
Don't talk to them, they're not human, obviously. They don't care about the actual human. Oh no, poor people. Oh, sorry, I'm just doing my job. Diminish sense of responsibility.
With the atmosphere becoming tense, Ben tries to reason with the owner of the van.
You can't squat here, madam, because you're causing obstruction to the highway. Does anyone want to talk some sense to her?
When people decide that, do you know what, I'm not actually going to go, it doesn't affect us, because at the end of the day, we know you're going, and it could, in the event, result in you being arrested for obstructing and refusing to leave.
Ben suspects that the squatters are now trespassing on private land belonging to the mosque next door. With no one cooperating, he changes tactic.
Good morning, sir. Is the Amman available? Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
We're here, obviously, next door to evict the squatters.
Okay.
The piece of land at the very back.
Right. That is yours.
Yes.
Okay.
With your authority,
right,
you could have employed my company as a security, and we can remove them that way. No charge. Thank you very much. Take care.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
The Imam has given Ben the authority to remove the squatters from the land.
Just so you know, this land is owned by the mosque. We are instructed for the mosque for security.
It's been 4.5 hours since the agents first arrived. Everyone starts to leave, including the female van owner. But some of the squatters are still in no hurry.
You're allowed back in.
That's my stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
They'll have to bring it out for you.
Yeah, we'll bring it out.
Morning.
The landlord's agent has arrived. He explains the property had been left empty, waiting for council approval to turn it into private dwellings.
As soon as Goods has put the sign up at the front, the property, it was, you know, he had somebody come in and checking it over, but they went one night, came the following day, and it was occupied, and that was it. So, I mean, how can you live like that? It's just horrendous, isn't it?
The main problem is, I mean, it's great getting properties back for landlords and things like that, but it's the whole damage that's left behind.
It's not like when a property is legally rented out that if it's left in a bad condition, then they can legally take their tenants to court. Unfortunately, because they're squatters and they had no legal right to be here, they can't do that.
Glenn has a first-class university degree in maths. He sees any empty property like this as fair game to live in.
Squatting for me is just my escape from rent. I don't want to be put in a situation where a large proportion of my wages goes towards someone who's rich enough to buy a property. I feel everybody should have an equal opportunity in being able to shelter themselves. But we'll just keep moving on, building after building after building.
The agents have turned what could have been a challenging situation into a peaceful eviction.
This is the disturbing part. Every one of those people there felt that they had an absolute right to be there. We know from speaking to the agent that the property company is trying to get a change of use so they can turn it into dwellings. In other words, to house homeless people. Not this sort of homeless people, but people who will pay rent.
Research from a leading UK financial authority reveals having children increases the probability of debt problems by more than 50%. The hardest hit are single parents, who are 1.5 times more likely to be in debt than two-parent families. High Court enforcement agents Gareth Short and Craig Vernal work across Wales and central England.
What's the plan, mate? Plan? We're off to Birmingham.
They have a writ to collect a large debt owed by Kaylee Goodwin to a firm of solicitors.
The debt totals just short of £6,500.
If Kaylee can't or won't pay today, the agents have the right to seize assets to pay off the debt. The writ allows the agents to make peaceful entry through an unlocked door.
Hello? High Court Enforcement Agents, yeah?
Yeah, you can come in. No, that's fine.
Okay.
Can you just close the door?
With High Court Enforcement Agents, we're looking for Kaylee Goodwin. Is that yourself?
No.
It's not yourself, is it?
She doesn't live anymore.
No, I'll just show you some ID.
Somebody else has been here looking for Kaylee Goodwin.
Yeah?
On numerous occasions.
Okay.
I've been here for 6 months. I live here, I'm a single parent. Live here with my son.
What was your name, please?
My name's Melissa. Right.
I'm going to be cheeky here, Melissa. Do you have any ID or anything like that we can look at, please? Have you got anything with your name on?
Can I look in the kitchen drawer? I know I haven't got anything.
You got
I went to go for a job interview at a nursing agency and I haven't got no identification for them.
What's on there, love? What's on?
I think I've got a letter. I haven't got anything. Actually, I've got nothing.
So whenever we knock the door and we're greeted by somebody we think is the debtor, the first thing we need to do is to find out if it is actually the debtor, and we always ask them for ID. As soon as they say they don't have any ID, that's normally a telltale sign that it is actually the debtor and they're trying to hide away from it. Okay. Let's start telling the truth now, okay?
All right, I'm Kaylee Goodwin.
Perfect, brilliant. Okay.
What is this about?
Kaylee, we're here with the High Court writ, we are.
For what?
Okay. It's money you owe to a company.
That's getting dealt with by my solicitor at the moment. What happened was, I was in a car crash.
Okay.
After her car crash, Kaylee filed a compensation claim through a firm of solicitors.
All my forms went through.
Yeah.
I then moved here. I didn't hear anything off them. I then got a letter saying that I owe them money. But I had a letter about 3 weeks ago saying that it's gone to took it to a county judge. So I've just passed it on to my solicitor.
Kaylee has now been taken to court for unpaid solicitors' bills, and the agents are here to collect.
The position you're in now, unfortunately, you see, solicitor's done nothing with this at all. There's still an active writ, which
So
means
what can I do?
Okay.
I'm willing to pay this amount.
you've got a couple of different options when it comes to our stage. You can either pay it, and it stands at £6,474.49, or unfortunately, we'll be looking to seize and remove assets from you.
I haven't got anything, nothing belongs to me. That TV's my mum's. I've got a TV upstairs which is mine, I'm not going to lie, but it's broke. That's why my mum's won't do that one.
Unfortunately, we will be looking to seize and remove assets if we can't pay it, including our TV. A TV at public auction is probably worth about £50, but what is worth the actual debt is a lot more. So whenever we start looking at leverage, the first thing I look at is the TV, because the last thing they want to lose is the TV.
So you're going to leave me and my son with no TV, basically?
Hopefully it won't come to that
I
situation.
haven't got the money though.
If you're saying to us you need like half an hour to try and make some phone calls...
Try and make some phone calls. I'm meant to be at work at 9 o'clock. I'm a district nurse. I've got nobody with money around me. Nobody. So I don't think I'm making a phone call for money because that's one thing I haven't got.
Despite her dispute with the solicitors, if Kaylee doesn't try and raise the payment today, she's at risk of losing what little she has.
So what is my options really? Just be honest with me, please.
Couple of different options. I can say the worst case scenario now, we can seize and remove assets from you. Obviously, we don't want to do that. You can pay it, or you can set up some kind of a payment plan.
What, I'd have to pay something now?
They'd be looking for some kind of down payment now, see?
I literally haven't got a thing.
Unfortunately, then, we're going to have to start the seize and remove assets from you.
I haven't even got anything. My washing machine's broke, my fucking fridge freezer's broke. The only thing that I've got in this house is that TV, that's all I've got. I haven't even got a fucking bed in my bedroom. That's how bad it is in this house. I haven't got a bed.
You've also got a 2010 plate Mazda on the drive.
That's not my Mazda.
Who's that then?
That's my mum, so have a look into it, mate. It's broken down, that's why she's parked it there. You can ask her, I walk. I'll phone my job now.
Okay, we've also... Right, the car keys are on your kitchen
Yeah,
table.
but that's not my... It's not my car. I don't drive. I don't own a licence. I know I lied to you earlier, but I'm not lying now. I mean, I can give you £1,000 on Friday. If you just give me till Friday, I get my wage slip will come through Thursday night. I will give you my whole wages. My whole wages Friday morning. If not, you can come in and you can take what you want.
We couldn't wait for 3 days.
You can't.
File case.
I've got no family. Sorry.
I'm not saying I don't feel sorry for them, because I do feel sorry for a lot of debtors. Majority of the time you realise straight away they've got no assets whatsoever. But I know I'm there to do a job, and if I didn't do my job, then they'd just get away with not paying their debt forever.
The agents can see Kaylee's in distress, and with little to take away, they offer her a lifeline.
We need 50% of it. Whether you get 50% or not is worth trying, isn't it?
Kaylee makes a call to a friend to try and raise some funds.
Hello, Anne. Listen, where are you? It's Kaylee. Listen, I've got bailiffs in my house, right? Are you listening? And listen, I need some money and I'll pay you back 500 quid a month. If not, they're taking everything out of my house now and the baby's in bed. 3 grand, I owe them 6. I'll give you about 500 quid. If not, they're taking everything out of the fucking house, and I woke up this morning and I've got all this at my door.
Kaylee's friend can lend her the money, but can't get it immediately.
All his money takes 3 working days. It's not good enough.
Unfortunately not.
I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. Alright. I need a few hours.
We can give you an hour. We can wait here for an hour if you wanted to.
Why are you trying to intimidate me?
I'm not trying to.
Feel like,
I'm not. How am I trying?
Bad, like I just mean like I feel like he's a heartless in my house.
Okay.
My son's upstairs in bed. I know it's your job, like I do get it, I understand it, but I'm asking for 3 days. I can get the money for you in 3 days.
We'll happily wait. We'll be the most patient men in the world for the next hour or so if we wanted to.
I'm sorry I just shouted a lot.
Don't need to apologise to us, that's fine. I do appreciate that having 2 burly guys knocking your door is not the nicest thing in the world, especially if there's a single mum living on her own. And that's when I just try and take myself down to their level. Just try and see where they're coming from, just speak to them on a one-to-one basis. How confident are you that that person, or you're going to have £3,000 at the end of the week?
I will have £3,000 if I have to go and sell myself by the end of the week.
I'm not asking you to do that, yeah?
I'm serious though. I've got a son upstairs. I need to protect.
Okay.
I don't like being in debt. Like, I don't like it.
But what we could do is put you into something called a controlled goods agreement. So that means we list some items in your property, we leave them here with you, and then come Friday, we can then give you until Friday to pay this £3,000. Yeah? And then put you into something manageable on a monthly or weekly basis for you.
With the promise of £3,000 in 3 days' time, the agents give Kaylee a payment plan to pay the balance.
Would you be happy with that? That's all it takes. I take a quick seat here and let me explain this easier, yeah?
By signing the controlled goods agreement, Kaylee enters a binding contract.
Come Friday now, we're going to make that payment. It's that number there.
Yep.
All the best. Hey, all the best tonight. Thanks, Kaylee. Take care.
Kaylee now has 3 days to come up with £3,000. If she doesn't pay by the deadline, the agents will be back, and she could lose her possessions. Gareth and Craig have managed to get a result from a difficult situation. But in Paul and Steve's next case,
I am really the victim for this landlord.
they face a tenant locked in a bitter dispute with her landlord.
What about my children? They go to school, they have exams, they close their books.
Recent government figures reveal record numbers of homeless families are unable to afford suitable accommodation after they've been evicted by private landlords. In the last 5 years, there has been a 25% increase of families with dependent children in temporary accommodation. High Court enforcement agents Paul Bowhill and Steve Pinner are in West London to carry out an eviction.
Next job we're on our way to is a repossession.
The tenants, Mr. Janidi and his family, have lived in the property for 3 years, but recently fell behind with their rent.
There was an amount of 6,800 outstanding, but for some reason 3,400 odd has already been paid.
Looks as if they were sort of trying.
Despite the fact that some of the arrears have been paid off, the landlord decided not to renew the tenancy when the lease expired.
That's it, first house in on the left. It's quite posh, isn't it?
The tenants were given a date by the county court by which to leave. But that date has come and gone. And now Paul and Steve must get the family out. Today.
Oh my goodness, it's got all bloody concertina grills on all the windows. And a steel gate. It's very secure, isn't it?
That's a high security lock as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is an odd one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Somebody who's obviously seriously paranoid. It's got a burglar alarm as well.
Oh. Hello. We're High Court enforcement agents and we have a writ to repossess the property.
Today?
Today.
Nobody told me.
Okay, but we have a this is for you. Have you spoken to the council at all?
No.
Not to the council.
And also the landlord, he asked me to pay money and I gave him money.
We can see that you have given him money, yes. Yeah. But unfortunately
I didn't prepare anything and I don't know where to go.
Okay. Let me just talk to you. How many people?
2 children.
2 children. Okay.
No.
Okay. The way to do things is to pack enough clothes for yourselves and your children's for a couple of days. Yeah. And then you can make an arrangement to come back in a couple of days.
All belongs to me.
You make
for the landlord. All this stuff for
okay.
me.
No, it's okay. So you make it. No, please, just take a breath. Okay, just calm. Okay, have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat.
It's clear the eviction has come as a shock to Mrs. Janidi. Her husband isn't at the house, and a family friend, Ramsey, steps in to help.
How many days you have to leave the house?
No, today.
What do you mean
today?
How today? How?
It's not possible.
Steve explains that after the tenancy ended, the court instructed the family to leave 8 weeks ago.
I told him I am ready to pay all the arrears. He asked me what you can pay. I said tomorrow I go and I went, paid 2,500 after I wiped everything. And I said I am very ready to give the money and please give me the tenancy agreement. Why I paid him 2,500? Tell me why. For nothing?
Mrs. Janidi claims that her landlord agreed to renew her tenancy after she'd paid off some of the arrears. But the High Court writ orders immediate eviction.
If he's played games with you about payment of the monies, that's completely separate to the possession order. Cutting the long story short is we have no option in this. You have to leave today.
99% of what here is mine. Even the floor you
I understand. No, I understand that.
What about my children? They go to school, they have exams, they close their books.
I accept that you have a story to tell, and I'm sorry to be the one who has to do this.
I am really victim for this landlord, really victim.
Yeah.
Should the Lord also save me, not just the landlord?
Despite Mrs. Janidi's dispute with her landlord, Paul and Steve are duty-bound to enforce the eviction.
This is not law, not at all.
It's not only clothes. It's not a matter of clothes.
I have expensive things in this house. We are not people from the street.
I understand that.
While Steve tries to reason with Mrs. Janidi, Paul goes off to talk to the landlord. He's just arrived with a friend who's been helping him with the case.
Sorry, she's telling us a story there.
Yeah, she's all fine.
She showed me the court order, which is... I mean, this is an end of tenancy, isn't it? It's a Section 21.
Yeah.
She's told she's got to pack her stuff now. She's got an hour to pick the stuff up. Just give us 15, 20 minutes. It's best if she doesn't... That's all right, unless you're happy with confrontation.
Inside, Mrs. Janidi is still refusing to leave.
I can't leave now, my life is here.
But we can't. By the time your children get back, the council will be closed.
Okay, that's it. We're gonna wait. Let children. They have a test. They have exams.
This is the circumstances where you phone the school and you say there is a problem at home. The school will let him go.
Mrs. Janidi leaves to pick her teenage children up. family friend Ramsey stays to pack their belongings. But the agents want to know where Mrs. Janidi's husband is, who is also named on the writ.
If he hear the news now, consider him dead. He's 70 years old. He have high blood pressure. He have sugar, diabetes. He have jaundice. He have heart problem.
To have all this on top of that. Bad day.
Ramsey tells the agents that Mr. Janidi is in hospital. But the landlord's friend has a very different version of events.
The story that we've got from them, collectively, is that the husband is in hospital.
Well, as far as we're aware, he just disappeared off the scene.
Right.
And then that's the cock and bull story that she gave us. But we believe he'd gone back home. That's what we thought.
Home being to Jordan?
Wherever he came from.
The landlord's friend knows about the payment to clear half of the £6,800 arrears. But with over £3,000 still owing, he's unaware of any agreement allowing the family to stay.
I can't understand why she paid it anyway, because she was told not to pay it. She was told, but if you read the court thing, she didn't have to pay it. She had to get out on the 1st of December, no money's paid or anything.
50 minutes later, Mrs. Janidi arrives back with her children. Spotting the landlord's friend, she wants answers.
I want to ask.
No.
I am busy. I don't do problem. I want to talk. Just talk. Just talk. I
Talk through solicitors.
If I am solicitors, what is first? Solicitor didn't make for me anything. I want to solicitor.
Talk through your solicitor.
I want to talk. I ask him just why he did with us like this.
Just talk through
We
your
change
solicitor.
his house to be a palace. A palace, everyone knows.
I understand your position, but you must go to the council for help. You must.
Okay, I know, but...
Mrs. Janidi and her 2 children are now homeless. It will be up to the council to provide emergency accommodation for the night.
Obviously, they're going to get upset. You know, to all intents and purposes, this is one of the worst days of their life. They're being asked to leave a property which they consider as being their home. The job still has to get done.
Recent research has revealed that half of all payments owed to firms are overdue, with the average amount exceeding £40,000. Late payments put almost a quarter of UK small firms at risk of insolvency. Gareth Short and Craig Vernal are back on the road again. This time they're in Bristol to recover a debt of over £10,000 owed by a plumbing business to a supplier.
We are going to see Phoenix Engineering Southwest Limited. It's currently to the tune of just over £10,000. It was a big one. Yeah.
The agents have already visited the company's warehouse without success. Notice of the writ has been sent to the home of its director, Jasmine Lovell, and now the agents are on their way to recover the debt. Gareth and Craig immediately spot a potential asset they could seize if Mrs. Lovell can't or won't pay.
There's a bill there, or an invoice for purchase under the name of Lovell. So it's definitely this vehicle is linked to the defending company.
Hello, High Court Enforcement Agent. Looking for the director or the owner of Phoenix Engineering in South West Limited, please.
That'd be me, my lovely,
Be you,
but I
then?
don't actually do anything with the company.
Okay, but you are the director, are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
At the moment, we've got a High Court writ which says that you owe £10,046.93.
Right.
Well, it also gives us the ability to seize and remove assets from you.
Yeah, but only for the business. That's a limited business. But it doesn't run from here. Obviously, nothing in here is owned by the company because this isn't anything to do with the business.
Yeah, you'd have to prove that to us, unfortunately.
So what do I do here now?
So you've got two different options. You can either pay £10,046.93,
right,
or we are going to seize and remove assets from you.
Right, okay, that's absolutely fine. I'll leave you there. I'm going to go phone.
Inside, Mrs. Lovell calls her husband, Paul, the manager of the business.
There is nothing in this fucking house that won't stop.
Here we go.
Right, there's nothing here.
Okay.
Reference the company.
We're going to have to come in and do a search of the property.
I'm not going to let you in, my lovely.
Okay.
But I've got a dog as well. So
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, no worries. Walk around the back and see how big our dog is.
You've got a card.
What do you mean, a card?
A telephone number. This chap that knows about the company can
Okay,
ring you.
yes.
Gareth passes Mrs. Lovell a telephone number, and moments later, he receives a call from her husband.
No.
Hello. I'm a High Court enforcement agent. Okay. If I stop you there, mate, just because it's going through doesn't mean it's gone through, so you are still liable for this debt.
Yes, we are still active, but unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about paying any bills.
Okay, what's going to happen? We are going to be looking to seize and removing this van. It's not at the end of the drive.
You take that van, my friend, and I'll tell you what, I'm happy for taking it. It doesn't belong to the company.
If you're saying the company doesn't own anything, then we will need to see receipts for everything within that property.
Don't talk silly.
I'm not talking silly, sir. I'm just telling you the facts.
You're talking bollocks, my friend.
Right.
You're not even stepping a foot through the door, my friend, unless you bring the policeman there.
I won't need
Okay,
I don't need the
know
police,
my
mate.
rights.
I don't need the police, mate.
Right. Okay. So you're going to be there about an hour if I come back down?
Brilliant. I'll see you soon.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
All the best. Ta-ra, mate. Ta-ra.
With Mr. Lovell saying that he can't pay, will Gareth and Craig get the £10,000 they came for? High Court enforcement agents Gareth Short and Craig Vernal were at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Lovell to recover just over £10,000 owed by Phoenix Engineering Southwest Limited.
Right, there's nothing here.
Okay.
Reference the company.
After Mrs. Lovell closed the door on them, her husband called the agents, claiming the company couldn't pay the debt.
You take that van, my friend, and I'll tell you what, I'm happy for taking it. It doesn't belong to the company.
Now, after the agents have waited 40 minutes, Mr. Lovell arrives home.
Sir, you all right?
Yeah.
Mr. Lovell, is it? Okay, so the position you're in now. This outstanding balance of £10,046.93 needs to be paid.
Okay, well, we haven't got the money. Company's not got the money. It's as simple as that.
Okay, well, you said to me earlier that you're winding the company up.
I haven't got no choice.
Is there a reason why you're still wearing uniform then?
Because that's the only clothes I've got to wear to work.
The company's still trading, yeah?
Not really. It's still in existence, but it's not trading.
Okay, so it still exists, it's still active. So it
Exactly.
means the company's still liable for this debt then?
Well, debt can't be paid. What's the other options?
Remove goods.
Anything we believe or suspect could belong to the company.
Mr. Lovell produces the logbook for the van.
I don't believe it's belongs to the company. It belongs to me.
If I show you that, 2 seconds. This document is not proof of ownership. So that proves to me who's liable to tax the vehicle, but it doesn't actually show who owns that vehicle. But ultimately, that can be seized right now.
With his van at risk of being seized, Mr. Lovell decides to tell the agents why he's in so much financial difficulty.
We've got a contract in Bristol which these claims done, which we've not been paid on, 110 grand. One of the reasons
Together.
I've not been paid on that contract, unfortunately, he went bankrupt.
Just because somebody owes you money doesn't mean you don't have to pay somebody else.
Yeah, no, totally agree.
If you cannot pass debt on, it's
Well,
okay to
that's
owe other people money.
But you need
So-
to do what you've got to do then.
Okay. All right.
Because at the end of the day, I ain't nothing, mate.
It's clear that Mr. and Mrs. Lovell's business has hit hard times. But now they're at risk of losing the one asset they have left. The agents give him one last chance to come up with an offer.
If you come to us and you say, this is what we can do and this is what we propose to do going forward, then we will take that back to the client and see what their views are on it.
Okay, right, then we'll go out and chat with him.
Brilliant. A lot of the times, the builders are working on the big projects and there's a lot of money involved. So if somebody doesn't pay them that, it's always going to have a knock-on effect personally, and they can't afford to pay their debts.
5 minutes later, Mr. Lovell comes back out of the house. Gareth and Craig are hoping for a substantial down payment towards the £10,000 debt.
She's on the phone to her sister.
Yep.
We might be able to raise the grand, but that's about it.
I'll speak to the office now, see if they accept that. You need to have a think about what you can offer going forward on a monthly basis.
His £1,000 offer is a fraction of what he owes.
I don't think that's going to be accepted. Try it.
Gareth calls the office to check whether Mr. Lovell's offer of £1,000, together with a payment plan, is enough to save his van.
He's offered a down payment of £1,000. Yeah. And then clearing the balance in 3 months. From our point of view, Jane, right? We've got no assets inside the property. We have got a 56 plate Ford Transit. But that's probably £500 at auction.
Yeah. Yeah. This fella has a history of non-payment.
Okay.
He physically doesn't make payment.
The claimant will only accept a payment plan if Mr. Lovell signs a personal guarantee with them.
See what he says. If he says no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Say, right, well, in that case, then they're not accepting your offer.
Brilliant, okay. Okay, Mr. Lovell, unfortunately, they're saying you've missed a couple of payments with them before.
Like I said, there's a couple of other suppliers that's gone that way.
So what they're saying, you've got two different options. If you want a £1,000 down payment now,
yeah,
you'd have to be a personal guarantor for that. So you need to sign a piece of paper to say if the company doesn't keep up with the repayments, then you'd be personally liable for it.
Me personally?
You, your wife, whoever signs for it.
Signs it. Do we get a dog to sign it? Right, what do you want to do? Dog? We'll have a chat.
Go and have a chat.
You need to get all your sister and make sure she can bring this money over.
Yeah, she can.
Right. £1,000.
So it's £1,000 today, £1,000 at the end of May, £1,000 at the end of June, and then clear the balance at the end of July.
Yeah, we should be able to clear it.
Mr. Lovell has been given a lifeline. But as he now has to sign as a guarantor with the claimant, it's not just company assets that are at risk if he defaults, but his own possessions.
I'll just have to take some details from you, sir, on £1,000.
So you want the money as well, don't you?
That'll help. Thank you.
Thank you,
Perfect. Thank you very much, mate.
All
the best.
Put your hand there.
Yeah.
All the best. Yeah.
The case is resolved for now. But if Mr. Lovell doesn't stick to the claimant's payment plan, the agents will be back.
It's an extra trump card now because we only got the van, whereas now we've got that and the personal guarantor. But I think from what he's saying, and the reason that he signed it, I think the company, by the end of July, the company will pay the debt anyway. Happy defendant.
Can I keys?
Yes.
Next time,
We fucking won't be stepping in here, mate, to tell you that now.
a can't pay special discovers exactly what it's like to do one of Britain's toughest jobs.
You can keep the chain on the door if you like.
I'll find who you are and I'll find where you live. Trust me.
Right.
We see the agents facing anger
Get out of the fucking house, man.
Push me about.
and deceit
He blatantly lied.
in some of the most challenging cases of their careers.
Don't touch me, don't touch me.
Oh, that looked awkward. See how the crews get on next Wednesday night at 9. Tomorrow night at 9, Living with Crazy Noise Through the Walls. The new series of Nightmare Neighbour Next Door continues. But next on Channel 5, Paul Connolly exposes the criminals trying to make a mint from desperation. The Great British Fake Off in just a tick.
What happens when you get into debt
I'll do what I want. I will punch you clean through that window.
and you can't
I don't know work, I can't cope.
or won't pay it back?
I can't pay it, I can't pay it.
We meet the High Court enforcement agents who are pushed to their limits.
Loader in the pot!
dealing with desperate debtors.
Will you please open the door?
You're kicking me out of my dad's house.
In dramatic situations.
I'll break your glasses.
We meet the people who are losing their homes.
We've got nowhere to go.
You can't leave him because if that pipe comes off, it's like threatening.
And their possessions.
Will it be all right to tow it behind a transit?
Because whatever happens, if you can't pay...
Get your hands off me.
They'll take it away. Across the UK, people aged between 25 and 34 are increasingly finding themselves in debt. Research has shown that over 3/4 of young adults have received financial support from their parents. Stuart McCracken and Elmore Victor are High Court enforcement agents. They work all over England and Wales, seizing property and collecting debt.
Sunny Blackpool, eh?
Always.
Today they're in Blackpool to serve a writ on Mr. Daniel Barrett, a self-employed plasterer who owes over £6,500.
That's what we have to know. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3.
There we go, on your right hand side.
If Mr. Barrett can't or won't pay today, Stuart and Vic have the right to seize goods to cover the debt. The High Court writ gives the agents the right to make peaceful entry through an unlocked door.
Hello? It's alright, I've gone.
Don't let him out.
I know, I'm not, don't worry.
Right, what are you doing? Come on, get in. What are you doing coming in?
We're High Court enforcement agents.
Well, right, I know who you are,
okay.
But all I want you to do is stay outside the door, please.
I'll be staying here at the moment, okay, to show you my ID.
Right.
So my name's Mr. McCracken, this is Mr. Victor. We're here for Mr. Barrett.
Right, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel,
That's my son.
Yeah.
Is he here at the moment or not?
No, he's not. He's actually working.
We got a High Court writ basically to take control of goods unless he makes a payment. Is there any chance you can get in touch with him?
He's got no money to make a payment, and there's nothing here of his apart from him sleeping here and being living here. There's no goods. All the goods are actually ours, mine and my husband's.
But Stuart spots a potential asset. If the car outside belongs to Daniel, it could be taken away to pay off the debt.
Who owns the vehicle on the driveway?
Me.
Right, have you got...
See my logbook?
we need a sales invoice.
The pressure is on. Mrs. Barrett gets her son on the phone.
Danny! Law enforcement officers here, they want to speak to you. Right, but you need to speak to them, they want to speak to you.
Hello, is that Daniel?
Hi mate, you alright?
Daniel, my name's Mr. McCracken. I'm a High Court enforcement agent from Direct Collection.
Hi.
Right, we've got a High Court writ to collect an outstanding balance for £6,653.
Yeah, carry on. Get to the point, mate.
Yeah, well, I am getting to the point. I'm explaining why I'm here, so what I'm prepared to do.
For one, you shouldn't be in the house. You've walked in the house on your own without being asked to come in, so you need to leave.
No, we won't be doing that, sir, I'm afraid.
No, you will be doing. You will. There's nothing there that you can physically take.
I'm not, like I said, sir. We're here to collect an outstanding balance of £6,653.
Well, I'm not present at the address, and I can't discuss it over the phone. So.
While Stuart talks to Daniel, Mrs. Barrett shows Vic the paperwork for the car.
Well, I'll be staying.
It turns out the car is in Mrs. Barrett's name and can't be seized.
I do think debt brings out the worst in people. It's embarrassing, isn't it? I mean, it is embarrassing to anyone. And I think it's even worse if it's not your debt, and it's your son's or your daughter's debt.
But as Stuart speaks to Daniel, tensions begin to rise.
Get off the property. You've got no right to be in there.
I do have every right to be here.
You have walked in that house.
Don't raise your voice, sir. Don't raise your voice, okay?
Well, if I want to raise my voice, I will do. You've walked into my mum and dad's house without being given entry.
That's
you
correct,
can leave now.
No, we won't be leaving, sir, until you make a payment.
You will be leaving because you'll be there all fucking night.
Dan,
and You know it, and I know it.
Okay.
Danny.
On your name and everything.
Yeah, you can have my name, sir. No problem at all. My name's Mr.
I want to know
McCracken.
where you live as well.
Yeah, no problem at all. That's fine. I've got
Alright.
no issue with that. We're based in Northwich in Cheshire, sir.
Yeah, I bet you are, yeah. I bet you are.
I don't accept any kind of threatening behaviour at all in any way, shape or form. At the end of the day, we are trained to deal with that situation, and there are various ways of controlling it. You just got to think about your end goal, because we are there to collect a payment and nothing's going to stop us.
After 10 minutes at the address, the agents aren't any closer to recovering the debt.
Put my mum on the phone.
Okay, there you go.
What money are you after?
To see what you can raise.
To see what you can raise. He's got a tenner. That's a token gesture. He has no money. He works for himself.
He doesn't work for free.
No, he doesn't work for free, but you know yourself, if you're self-employed, the work comes or it goes.
It's just a shame to see parents getting dragged into issues that are out of their control. If I was ever in that situation, my mum and dad would kill me. There's no question about it. But at the end of the day, they don't want to see your son in dire straits.
Daniel's offer of £10 towards his £6,600 debt is not enough for Stuart.
He's obviously at work at the moment, so he'll be getting paid for jobs. So he must have some form of money to keep diesel in his van.
But then, it becomes clear that Daniel isn't at work after all.
Right, okay, I thought you were out at work. Right, he's out of work. He's not at
Does he
work.
want to come back home then?
Sorry?
Does he want to come back home and have a chat with us?
He says, well, do you want to come back home and come and have a chat with him? No, not again, Danny. You can't do this. We've got neighbours looking here and everything.
Do you want to try this time, Vic?
Yeah. Hello, hi there. My name is Mr. Victor. Look, mate, we're here to work with you as much as possible.
Yeah, you can work with me.
But Mrs. Barrett has had enough.
Give us the phone back, please. Right, Dan, that's enough now. Love.
She's going to lock the door.
I've locked the glass door.
Yeah.
No, they're in the park!
Will Stuart and Vic be able to control this unpredictable situation and get the £6,500 they came for? Stuart McCracken and Elmore Victor were looking to serve a writ on plasterer Daniel Barrett for a debt of over £6,500.
We're here for Mr. Barrett's.
Right, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel.
That's my son.
Yeah.
But Mr. Barrett was not at home.
He's actually working.
When they reached him, he refused to cooperate.
You will be leaving because you'll be there all fucking night.
Instead, his mother shut off access to the house.
No, they're in the park!
Now, with no sign of the defendant, Stuart and Vic need to calm Mrs. Barrett down.
Hello. You can speak through the glass. That's fine. Okay.
But then suddenly, the police arrive on the scene.
High Court enforcement agents executing a High Court writ.
Now, Stuart and Vic must brief the officers.
What have you come here for? So it's a High Court writ.
It's High Court writ, so we're here to either collect goods or collect payments, one thing or another.
It's been reported to us as a very lucky kind of burglary, you see. That's why we've come.
It appears that someone has called the police to report a break-in at the address.
That's the writ of control. That's his name and that's the address. So this document gives us the right to come to this property and enforce.
We get told that we've broken into places, we get told that we're stealing, but 9 times out of 10 the police presence is vital because everybody wants a third opinion and they need the reassurance from the police that what we're doing is correct.
I'll go and speak to her.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Having established why the agents are at the address, the police go to speak with Mrs. Barrett.
Come on, close that door.
With the door open and the police inside, the agents enter the house. They need to assess whether any assets inside belong to the debtor. But Stuart's presence aggravates Mrs. Barrett.
not me. I didn't let anybody in.
If somebody walked in,
calm down. Calm down. Give me the rest of the week. Calm down. Calm down. Calm.
I want out, man.
Calm down. Hot water. That's the courts have authority over you and me and everybody in this country. You understand? If you calm down, I'll explain things to them. But you don't give people a chance. She's saying, she just explained to me then, that nothing in this house actually belongs to her son. So I can't verify that.
No, we can't either.
You can't either.
No.
Despite Mrs. Barrett's protests, Stuart needs to make a list of items of value in the house under a controlled goods agreement. If any of the assets belong to Daniel, they can then be seized if he doesn't pay. But as Stuart goes to get his paperwork, Daniel's father appears on the scene.
Morning there, sir.
Are you forced entry?
Sorry?
I've seen this list, you know. Have you forced entry?
No, not at all. No,
you
not
walk
at all.
through that permission, yeah?
No, not at all, sir.
Who let you in?
If the door's open, so we can walk through, it's for
I've got
peaceful
from that
entry.
sister, not allowed.
No, well, you can do, sir. If that was the case, the officer would have
You made
arrested
my
us.
wife cry, pal.
It appears that Mr. Barrett is aware of his son's financial situation.
You've seen his solicitor.
Yeah, I know.
What you need to do is a payment plan.
I know.
I've been through the procedure with the solicitor, mate.
I know.
And the other thing is, sorry to talk to you, your transit van's blocking my driveway, I'll put my car in it.
Okay, we'll move it. Yes, of course. Do you want me to explain to you what's happening, sir, or not? Because you're exactly like your son. I'm trying to explain the situation.
I've got all the legal requirements, I've heard everything.
What we're going to do is call the control.
Sorry, I'm not walking away, sorry.
Daniel's father doesn't seem very willing to discuss the matter. But Vic needs to make him understand the situation.
At the moment, this is a High Court active writ. Yeah, that's the only legal documentation, and that's why we're here today. And unfortunately, it's in your address because he does live here.
Yeah.
So it's up to you to prove that nothing in this property belongs to your son. It's not up to us to prove that it does. I think that's the bottom line.
Just get to the bottom line so these gentlemen got more important things to do.
Yeah, I didn't phone them, sir. I didn't phone them. I'm not wasting their time. They're here for the breach of peace.
Mr. Barrett decides to call his son to try to get him to cooperate.
Just speak to him. And thank you for calling then. No, we're saying get him out, so speak to him.
Hello? Right, what we're going to do is, and just let me, before you get worked up again, let me explain to you, because everybody's now calm in the property, all right? We're doing what's called a control goods agreement. Mr. Barrett, Mr. Barrett, Mr. Barrett, Mr. Barrett. No, I'm not. You need to come back to us to suggest what you realistically can afford monthly going forward.
Daniel has made Vic a new offer.
He's offered £30 a month. I will put it to the claimant, but I can tell you now they won't accept it.
Okay.
You need to raise funds. That's the bottom line.
Daniel's offer of £30 a month means it could take 20 years to pay off the £6,500 debt. Vic lays down an ultimatum.
We'll make a list of what's here of value. It stays here, and we will give him 24 hours to contact us, to come back to us, to make a payment. If he fails to make a payment, or he doesn't want to talk to us, or come to an agreement, right, we have got the authority to return.
The agents must walk away without a payment for now. But if Daniel doesn't come up with an acceptable offer within 24 hours, Stuart and Vic will be back. Homelessness in England has risen by a third since 2010. As councils struggle to cope with these rising numbers, thousands of families are being placed in temporary accommodation outside their own borough. (3:30 p.m. North London.
Turn right.
High Court enforcement agents Paul Bohill and Steve Pinner are on their way to carry out an eviction.
This is a repossession which I think the property's up for auction because we've got to send the keys to the auctioneers. The name of the road is St Margaret's, Tottenham, I think.
The claimant has applied to the High Court to speed up the repossession. This means the current occupiers, Debbie and Dean Douglas, must leave the property today.
It's here.
But this is going to be one of the toughest evictions Paul and Steve have ever faced.
Oh, hello. I'm looking for Debbie Douglas and Dean Douglas. Are you Douglas?
Yeah.
Okay, could you call them for me, please? Thank you.
Before he can continue his inquiries, Paul needs to find out how old the family member is.
Hello, are you there? How old are you?
20.
All right. Okay. Can I just talk to you? Have you got any younger brothers or sisters?
Yeah.
How old are they?
9 and 15.
Debbie Douglas is out collecting her youngest child from school. A neighbour comes round to see what's happening.
Jason.
Jason! Sorry.
Jason.
Might be upstairs. With all due respect, you are a close friend of the family.
Yeah, I'm a neighbour.
Okay.
I would have thought that she would have been told of this in advance.
She was told by the county court that she had to be gone by a certain date. This has now since been transferred to the High Court, and with that there is no notification of our attendance.
Moments later, Debbie and her youngest child arrive home.
Hello.
Hi.
Mrs. Douglas.
Yeah, what's happening, please?
My name is Paul Bowhill. We're High Court enforcement agents.
Okay.
And we have a repossession order for this property.
And why would that be?
I don't know.
Because this is my dad's house and he died. So the paper's in probate.
Debbie claims she has a right to her late father's house. But her father's girlfriend, who didn't live with him in the house, disputed this and started legal action.
It's like a family dispute, but it's my dad's house, but it shouldn't be getting possessed because the paperwork's in the solicitors. He told me none of us can do anything until we make an agreement to say who is entitled to what.
The repossession order was granted by the county court.
Okay.
And it's now been changed to the High Court.
Yeah.
Which means we don't actually write and tell you we come in. But the effect of it is that you have to leave the property now.
But it's my dad's house. I just don't get it. This has been going on for 15 years.
Wow.
Debbie believes that legal proceedings are still underway, but the High Court writ means that her father's girlfriend has won her case and is entitled to evict Debbie and her children.
Who is Dean Douglas?
That's my brother.
Is he contactable? Do you think he'd know anything about this?
No, because he knows as much as me.
Well, that's one for the books, isn't it? Doesn't affect the day.
Be governed by that piece of paper.
Totally.
Clearly in shock, Debbie gets her mum on the phone.
My dad lived here. He lived and he worked. He was a tailor.
Yes.
And he worked there. And he's... Mum, remember the letters that I was bringing to the house that we were looking at? Well, they must have been real. Like, what am I supposed to do? When we went that bad, I didn't even want to stay in this stupid house. My dad lived here on his own for 15 years and he was bleeding to death and I came to look after him. And that's why she's kicking me out of my dad's house. The woman's just doing it. She's kicking us out of my dad's house.
Family disputes are always going to create emotion because at the end of the day, it's a family. And obviously, something's happened for us to be there, and it's going to be awkward.
Despite the complicated family feud, the agents are duty-bound to enforce the eviction. The neighbour, Christine, steps in to help her friend.
It's not a time to cry, it's a time to be strong. You didn't know about the case, you go back and fight for what's yours. Simple. The mother of legal services, Great Britain, you kick out a woman with 3 children.
You must understand that we don't choose who we come and see. We are instructed by the High Court and commanded to repossess the property.
How can you be thrown out of your father's house? How can you be thrown out of the house?
I don't have that answer. I don't have that answer.
And someone's
for you.
taking you to court. This is England. You didn't know anything about the case. This is England. It will be rectified. Rectified. The judge is human like you.
But the priority is to get stuff for a couple of days. Things you're going to need: identification, medication, phone charges. Get down to the council. You have children. They'll emergency house you. Then you can make an arrangement to come back and collect everything else. That is your first and foremost thing you have to do, because you need somewhere to stay tonight. Unfortunately, it can't be here.
As Debbie has 3 children, she's entitled to emergency accommodation. But there's a problem. It's 4:45 p.m. and the housing office shuts in 15 minutes. If she can't get there in time, Debbie and her 3 children could face a night on the streets. High Court enforcement agents Paul Bowhill and Steve Pinner were in North London carrying out an eviction.
We have a repossession order for this property.
But the agent's visit came as a shock to the occupier, Debbie.
It's my dad's house, but it shouldn't be getting repossessed because the paperwork's in the solicitors.
Debbie claims she had a right to her late father's house, but her father's girlfriend took legal action and won the case in court.
You're kicking me out of my dad's house.
You need somewhere to stay tonight. Unfortunately, it can't be here.
Now, Debbie and her family urgently need emergency accommodation or face a night on the streets. But the council's housing office shuts in 15 minutes' time. Debbie's friend, Christine, calls the after-hours helpline.
You're calling on behalf of your friend who's homeless?
Yes. And the court enforcement officers are here right now. We have to leave. We have to vacate the property today. Now.
Okay. Just hang on 1 second for me. Is the person you're calling about, do they reside in Harringay or do they live in a different borough?
They're in Harringay. She's here right now. She's a bit distressed, but she's here.
Debbie Douglas.
Okay, Debbie Douglas, are you the person who's homeless?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, that's fine, Debbie. They'll give you a call within the next hour. If you don't get a call by, let's say, 6:30, just give us a call back and we'll chase it up for you.
Okay, but they've changed the locks already. They're just giving us a chance to speak with you.
I understand. All we do is take the information and we forward it over to the emergency response team. They should call you back very shortly.
The council have said they'll call back within the hour. But Paul and Steve are now needed on another job.
All my family are panicking now, and I don't have nowhere to charge the phone. So right now it's on charge. The house phone's going on and off the charge.
Yeah, okay, all right, we'll wait. Just that we've got it's a rolling programme, so normally we'd be here, not your problem, but we're here and gone in an hour, but we've now got...
I know, I understand that.
The family start to move some of their belongings to Christine's house, a few doors down. 20 minutes later, the council calls Debbie back.
Are you working?
I'm working, yeah.
Yeah, don't you have any money to book yourself into a hotel for today?
No, yeah, I work, yeah. And the money that I work is part-time money, and my money is accounted for, so I don't have money in my bank.
Because...
I don't have money in my bank like that though. I don't.
Because I can help the children, the 14 and the 9, but I can't help the 20-year-old, and I can't help you.
They can't help me in Mason.
So what's this about? You can't help What's the situation? Sorry.
Because she works here, she has access to finance, and I can't find anything for her. Best thing for her to do is, okay, they charge more money, local housing office, and they have to make the judgment. But if for the kids, the 14-year-old, 9-year-old, I can help. I can pass things.
So how's he going to help me?
This is not a social worker problem. We're not telling you that the children are in any kind of danger. They're homeless. Yes? Do something about that, because that's what your job is about.
Technically, she's still in the house, so she's not homeless. But when she leaves the house, she'll be homeless.
With the prospect of the family being split up for the night, Paul steps in.
Hang on, the enforcement officer wants to speak with you.
Hello, my name is Paul Bohill. These people have been evicted. You said these people aren't homeless. They are. We have a high court...
What I've said is, the minute they leave the house, they're homeless.
OK, would you please leave the house? Right, the only reason they're in the house is because the phone needs to be plugged into the system here. It's her mobile phone. They've now left the property.
Okay, can I speak to the client, please?
Well, no, because you've said she's got to be outside.
Okay, but I didn't say that. I said she'll be homeless the minute she leaves the house. I'll call her back in the next 5 minutes.
This is them being absolutely stupid. And we've been through this mill, waiting, all the process that you've been through, the drama that you've been through today, we've done a dozen times.
Okay.
They're obliged to house you.
Today is not a good day. Councils are frustrating for us because, you know, we try and talk to them sometimes on behalf of the tenant, but you have to understand from the other side of the coin is that there are so many people on the system that I don't know if they've got enough staff or funds to deal with everything.
Over an hour after Christine first spoke to the council, they call back with an unusual request.
You need to go to the police station with the document, and I'm going to call you there and speak to the police officer to verify the document.
Okay, I'm going there right now.
Which police station?
I'm going to Tottenham Police Station. All right. In about say 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yes, it's just across from my place. I'm going to make sure you call me because I don't want to be waiting there. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Despite the fact that the writ is a standard legal document and proof of the eviction, the council has asked Debbie to get it verified by the police. But after spending an hour at the police station, it's not good news.
The homeless unit are saying they don't understand the paperwork.
What is there not to understand from a high court? So I'm very saddened at the way things have turned out and the way my friend has been treated. When she needs help, she's getting no help from anywhere.
Debbie and her family are now in a desperate situation. It's 7:30 p.m. Paul and Steve have been with the family for 4 hours, but they won't leave until Debbie and her children have a bed for the night. Paul urges Christine to call the council one last time.
Make the phone call again to the council. We've executed dozens and dozens of writs up here. They must have seen a writ. They must be aware of the circumstances.
Christine makes the call.
Hi, I called you a couple of hours ago. My friend is out on the streets with her children. Are you categorically now telling me that she is not going to be rehoused with the children tonight? Are you categorically saying that?
I can't confirm or deny anything because I'm not the homeless team. Have you had a call back from the social services?
No. It's over an hour now from the time we got from the police station. And we've had no call. We're out on the street with the children outside the house.
Okay. All I can do then for you is to apply for the homelessness for them to call you back again.
Because we're waiting for their call. So if you could transfer us to them, please.
We don't transfer, I'm afraid. They will have to call you back.
Okay, I'll be waiting. Thank you.
Thanks, bye-bye.
The processing of their claim for emergency housing may well take 4 to 6 hours, and we know from feedback that we have that's about average. I think the whole system is absolutely outrageous.
It's now 8 o'clock at night. With no offer of assistance from the council yet, Paul allows the family back into the house. 45 minutes later, an officer from the emergency housing team calls back.
So, she's got nowhere to stay
Yes.
at all.
She's on the streets right now with the kids. Yes, I am.
So why can't you accommodate her for tonight and they can go to Apex House in the morning?
It is not my duty to house her tonight. It is your duty, not mine.
Right, okay, you're a friend and you're taking her.
Yes, I'm a friend. I've got 4 children.
Okay.
So my house is full.
Your house is full, you got 4
Yes,
kids?
yes.
Okay. Has she got any other friends or relatives she can stay with?
No, she hasn't.
Okay, the reason why we're sorting this information out because at the moment we usually get information from our bed and breakfast, and a lot of them are fully booked, but we're trying to get some more information. So just 1 second, please. There is a bed and breakfast in Ealing.
Ealing?
Ealing, yes.
How are we gonna get? How are we gonna get to Ealing this night? And the children have to be in school in the morning.
It would take over an hour for Debbie and the children to get across London to Ealing.
I think the council are absolutely behaving abominably. I don't think it's fair at all. You know, it's now 9 o'clock at night.
That's all we got. Why can't we have a friend? If you're so concerned.
No, don't be going on about a friend. No. Don't put no guilt on me. Don't put your what you're meant to do. Don't put it on me and try to play games with. Don't play games. It is your duty to house her. Don't you dare try to blackmail me by saying as a friend that I am meant to house her.
Change your mind, you can call us back where?
There will be no calling to Ealing without you providing the transportation to get there.
I can give you the phone number.
I don't need no social worker because we cannot get to Ealing this night without some support.
Thank you.
Thank you for nothing.
Exasperated by the situation, Paul decides to take action of his own.
Yes, I'm wondering if you've got a room vacant tonight in North London.
Paul books the family into a local hotel.
This is an unusual case. We don't do this for everybody, trust me. But we're seeing what appears to be, well, certainly the injustice of the housing system, the emergency housing. I mean, that's too silly for words. We don't offer to help with hotel rooms as a matter of course. We will only use those as a last resort. I wouldn't see a mother and children out on the street on a winter's night. We would do what we consider to be the reasonable thing.
It's now 10 p.m.
So if there's an issue, we'll sort it. It's paid for, done.
Thank you.
All right, and breakfast is included. Turn all the lights off on your way through, please.
After 7 hours at the property, Paul and Steve finally complete the eviction.
Thank you, Christine. Couldn't have done it without you. You're a real fighter.
Thank you.
Thanks to Paul and the enforcement company, Debbie and her children will have somewhere to sleep for the night. But the family face an uncertain future. Paul and Steve have experienced a heartbreaking situation. But in Stuart and Vic's next case,
I haven't got that money in my bank at the moment.
they come across a man.
This is our man, isn't it?
Who won't face up to his debt.
How do I prove to you that that vehicle is my wife's?
Since the start of the financial crisis in 2007, personal debt in the UK has increased by nearly £300 billion. Now, nearly 9 million people across the UK are struggling with debt. AM, Harden, Wales. Stuart McCracken and Elmore Victor are back on the road with a writ to recover over £4,000 owed by plumber Justin Westbrook.
Have you seen it outside?
No, mate. Frosty this morning.
If Mr. Westbrook can't or won't pay his debt, Stuart and Vic have the right to seize goods and vehicles from the property.
The cash guy.
We'll take that.
Cash guy ain't going anywhere. Go on, Vic, let's go wake somebody up.
Light. Kitchen lights on. Hey, someone's coming now.
Have they seen you, Vic?
Oh, I saw her. She closed the door.
Still there?
Can't see, they've closed the door now. You see, they've walked back in.
There's someone at home, but no one is answering the door. Then Mr. Westbrook's daughter opens a window upstairs.
Hi, my name is Mr. Victor. I'm a High Court enforcement agent. And I'm after Mr. Justin Westbrook. He lives here, though.
Yeah, but he's gone to work.
You need to get him on the phone. We need to speak to him urgently.
While Mr. Westbrook's daughter tries to track her father down, Vic calls the office to run a check on the family car in the driveway.
Hi, John, you all right? Good. Can you do an HPI for me?
If it's free of finance, the agents can take it away if Mr. Westbrook can't or won't pay.
Oh, that's interesting.
While the agents wait for news about the car, a handwritten note appears through the door.
This is Justin's number, ring this. Right, okay. Been sent a love letter, but on the opposite side of the letterbox.
Stuart calls Mr. Westbrook's number.
Hello?
Hello, is that Mr. Westbrook?
It is, yes, speaking.
Mr. Westbrook, good morning. My name's Mr. McCracken. I'm the High Court enforcement agent. We're here to collect a total amount of £4,341.39, sir. Obviously, as you're aware, if it's not paid, we are here to take control of goods.
I'm in Telford at the minute, in traffic, and I can't get any access to any money at the minute. What I'm trying to say is I haven't got that money in my bank at the moment.
Right.
Well, I'll ring you back as soon as I possibly can, because obviously I'll try and sort it
No,
out.
I understand. I'll speak to you shortly.
Stuart and Vic give Mr. Westbrook some time to see if he can raise the funds.
Hello. Hi, John, you all right?
The agent's office calls back with news about the debtor's car.
Excellent. No longer on finance. Boom.
Boom, that's it.
Cheers, John. Thanks for that.
Get it clamped.
The car is no longer on finance, so Stuart and Vic are able to seize it.
Who wants to see the car being taken away? I don't ever want to be in that situation. I don't think I could bear being in that situation, watching my pride and joy being taken away.
Half an hour later, Mr. Westbrook has still not come up with any offer of payment. But Stuart wants to give him one last chance to settle his debt before taking a prized family asset.
Hello?
Hello, is that Mr. Westbrook?
Where do I actually stand?
What'll happen is, sir, at 9 o'clock, if the payment isn't made, it gets transferred to what they call Stage 3 enforcement, which means the amount goes to £5,171.49. We'll then be contacting recovery for the vehicle to be removed.
But Mr. Westbrook has news for Stuart.
It's not my vehicle, sir, is it? You know what I mean?
Right, whose vehicle is it?
It's my wife's.
At the moment, we've seen no paperwork relating to that vehicle.
How do I prove to you that that vehicle is my wife's?
We'd need a sales invoice, sir. Shortly. Yep, speak to you shortly.
Right.
Stuart needs to get to the bottom of who owns the car. Inside the house, Mr. Westbrook's daughter has the finance company on the line.
Hello, my name's Mr. McCracken. I'm a High Court enforcement agent.
The finance company confirm that the car is now free of finance, but the loan was in Mrs. Westbrook's name. Meanwhile, Vic gets a call from the office.
Hi, John. Mister. Oh, brilliant. Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much, John. Cheers, bye. Hey, Stuart. The finance company has confirmed the vehicle was in the name of Mr. Justin Westbrook.
Mr. Really? Because I've just spoken to a woman on the phone there. And I went, right, okay, so whose name was it? And it's in the Mrs.
Must put in both their names, possibly.
But it's in joint names. That's what it is, it's in joint names.
It seems that the car belonged to both Mr. and Mrs. Westbrook. But as his name appears on both the finance documents and the writ, the agents have the right to seize it.
I mean, he can pay today, but in 20 minutes the car's going.
It's been over an hour since Stuart first spoke with Mr. Westbrook, and the debtor hasn't shown any signs of payment. The agents have no option but to arrange for the car to be removed.
How are you?
Good. I'm organising removal of this vehicle.
Make the call, Jane. Make the call.
But as they wait for the recovery team, a white van arrives. It's Mr. Westbrook.
What's going on here? This is our man, isn't it? Yeah. As we've been waiting, we've seen a white van pull up. Two guys have been in it. He's been dropped off, what we believe is a defendant. And then he's done what we call in the trade a Spider-Man attempt, which was climbing up on the wall there and then climbing around the back of his garage.
But Mr. Westbrook is still making no attempt to settle his debt.
If you want to try and hide from the matter, it's only going to make situations worse. I don't know why people do it. If you just speak to us and work with us, we will work together to get this resolved. Aha! What's up? Look at
me. 10 minutes later, the removal team arrive to take away Mr. Westbrook's vehicle.
If you don't want to pay your bills and you want to hide, then do that. We don't want to be taking vehicles. We would rather get a payment. But we've got an asset there that'll cover the balance, so if you don't want to pay it, then we'll be removing it.
It's got to get paid one way or the other, unfortunately. Can we get a copy of that?
Next time, Brian and Dell deal with a hostile debtor.
Why have you got a sword behind the door, Mark? It's a bit naughty, that.
Paul and Steve meet a tenant who won't budge.
I'll probably back your breaking rules, but don't shove me again, please. You keep budging, I don't like it.
And face a heartbreaking eviction.
I think you're not human.
They don't care if you are on the street with the kids or not.